So Big Bear AI is one of the top AI companies that's been growing from a small market cap in the defense space. And it's not just because of their Department of Defense contracts or Army or Navy or the Pentagon or maybe even the airport contracts. There's something else that most investors don't realize about this company that we'll be talking about today. Now, before we get into it, there's this recent pattern change we've seen where it has consolidated. It was on a very consistent uptrend over the last few weeks through June, and this consistent uptrend where every new resistance was acting as a support. Every new resistance acting as a support. And just now you see this previous resistance acting as a support. So there's three things we look at when analyzing a stock. The first is going to be the market. The second is going to be the analysis of the financials, the news, and everything else, including the product and the chart. And then thirdly, we'll look for the profit margins and the risk involved. Now, let's get into that thing, the burning question. Why have they seen so much growth? My idea about why they've seen so much growth is because of the amount of data that they're deploying or that they're getting. If you look at a company like, what was that one company that tested cats, for example? And it was like, it would test cats and tell you what their diet was. And they ended up selling the company for billions of dollars to some pharmaceutical company. Why? It wasn't because they had some revolutionary new technology as far as what they created. I mean, you can do a cat DNA test, it's not that hard. It's that they positioned themselves in the market, that they were able to get all of this data on cats, that they were then, there was interest of big tech, big data, that wanted that data, and that's what they were able to end up selling. Now, you could see that with Facebook, for example. They say, what's the product of Facebook? They say, you are the product. Your data is the product. One question that I think maybe it was Kevin O'Leary with the cat company DNA. Was it Kevin O'Leary? So essentially, one of the most successful deals was a cat DNA testing kit. That's what it was, and they sold it to the company, to a data company for billions. So you might say, like, so Will, what does that have to do with Big Bear? Well, I believe that when we're looking at the growth of the company, when you see BlackRock, AE Industrials, and these are the companies investing in them, it's probably not just because of the contracts and what they're doing, or even that their camera and their software is groundbreaking technology. I mean, we've seen facial recognition and things like that for years, but it's most likely the traveler authentication, how they're not just working with TSA, but they're also going directly to the gates and the different port of entries that give them that advantage, that maybe the government is saying, hey, we're going to partner with you so we can have that data, or so that we can be a part of it. And it's kind of similar to like 1984 Big Brother, right? So when we look at, for example, the different companies, not companies, trades and travel locations that they were able to secure, you have some of the biggest ones in the world. And what better way to get data? If this company works in defense, they work with the CEO, Kevin McElwain, previously the acting secretary of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. What better way for them, or U.S. Customs and Border Protection, what better way for them to grow than to be able to now have that type of data, for example, for the Olympics or the World Cup that's coming up. So I think that's part of the reason we see the stock grow. Now, the market of AI defense, they've been getting some more contracts. It's pretty good. Their quarterly revenues have held fairly steady, with a lot riding in anticipation on their next earnings. And then you look at the quarterlies here on their balance sheet, they actually managed their cash really well. So they actually sold or eliminated a large portion of their debts, and they have more assets than liabilities, which, they say cash is king. especially in a volatile market like we have today, along with the innovation that they're doing here. I think that puts them in a nice position. Now, here's what we got. They recently consolidated. A couple things are happening here. The first is that a lot of people say, Will, we've been covering it here. Is it going to keep going up to previous highs? Is it possible? We started covering it at $1. At one point, it did reach from that October when we started covering it up into $10 a share in February. Now, we saw it sell off with the greater markets and most of defense. And then when we see this recovery, now we're seeing this correction back down here to this previous support or this previous resistance that's acting as a support. Could it act as, let's say, a support, and we continue to see that run? Absolutely. We kind of talked about it in our daily live trading this morning. In fact, we placed a trade, a buy and sell order with Big Bear to show the process of executing a plan and how to do the trading with a plan that you can focus on and not have so many emotions involved. And it went really well as far as education. So if you ever want those things, it's the second link in the description to master some of the emotions and get the plan down. It's not what to buy, although we do go over companies and their earnings for the week, some good insights from different investors, but it's more about why you would buy it, the targets, the reasons why, and which companies are reporting earnings and things like that. So again, it's the second link below. When it comes to the growth we've seen recently on the stock and then this pullback, now we see in the last month shooting up to $8.72. In this recent pullback, there's two things to watch. First, we talked about this $7 range, this previous resistance that could act as a support. It was acting as a support with a little bit of a drop there further, but overall zone acting as a support there. So, two things to note. First, we do have a strong resistance there that if we see it hold above this $7 range right here and doesn't drop, let's say, too much further below, let's say 670, somewhere in here, which is a previous kind of support and resistance. So it's kind of a zone there. Then we're kind of holding bullish right now. Now, in the three stages to a reversal, anytime a stock reverses, it goes through these three stages. We talk about it quite often, and this is more into the technical analysis now here. So the technical analysis side is what you have in a reversal is you go from one direction, which could be up or down in a consistent trend, more than likely. And then you have the consolidation, which means then you have a left to right pattern where it doesn't maybe have momentum. It's just kind of going from left to right. And then in the third stage, you would have a reversal. So maybe that would look something like this. Like this is kind of the bear case. Oh, we do see this kick in maybe, and we see that reversal potentially take place. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen. In fact, I don't know if it's going to bounce because we can't control what institutions will do. I don't have a fancy algorithm for you or anything like that. That's what we're going over today. Is like the most important thing is that you have a plan. For example, long-term positions would make a lot more sense to continue to add to when you're looking at all of the probabilities that you could put together that would make sense for the long term. To me, it makes sense that they would grow into that $10, $15 range if they have some substantial amounts of money attached to those ports of entry and the trade contracts we went over earlier where they're collecting all that data. Now, if they do sell back down here and we see them get rejected, that is something, again, the most important thing would be having a plan. So if you're going to, let's say, play this swing that we talked about this morning in our live session, that we said, hey, maybe it makes a swing up into this, it's a 15% margin, and it continues in that consolidation. It does find support here. It doesn't continue selling down, and we see it recover. It's a 15% margin. So what's more important, to just have perfect entries, perfect timing, or to have a plan for your investing? It's going to be the plan every time. Timing matters for sure. The support and resistance, it matters. The RSI, MACD, it matters. There's a reason it exists. It helps you to stack things in your favor. But when it comes to what we could expect here, having a short-term trade, When we see it, if we see it break below those levels, that's when you got to be a little more cautious, see maybe a potential sell down as the probability increases of that in that three-stage reversal if that happens. And so that is why we would look for kind of those levels in if we entered a shorter term trade. Long-term trades we got $2.80 average. Happy with it. We continue to hold, continue to watch the AI space as it is a very fast growing market. And guys, comment your thoughts below on Big Bear. What do you got for me? New ideas? Maybe not what you should do, what you should buy. What ideas do you have, or what's driving some of the decisions? I think most people go through drifting and they say, tell me what to buy, tell me what to do. And I'm saying, share with me your ideas. That is the difference between, just kind of going from day to day, from thing to thing, versus your creative ideas. They're going to be made up of your subconscious mind. All the things that you don't even think about that are just back in your mind from all of the things you've done and searched from. When it comes to experience, I can only give you experience, and it may or may not be right. I mean, it works for me. In fact, some of our positions are up today. AMD's up 7% or 8% right now. Tesla's up, Black Sky's up 76%. But I'll tell you, it's not because I just guess and say, hey, somebody told me to buy this. It's very much based on, and I don't say this to brag or anything, the ideas and all of the information that we come up with, coming up with a plan and executing it. And so I think that's going to be the main thing. Tell me what the plan is. What do you think with BBAI and some of the ideas, as that could be fresh and new. If you guys want to join us in our daily live trading session, that lifetime access sale is still extended for now. It's closing. I'm telling you, the lifetime access, it's a bargain because, again, Monday through Friday, every single day at market open, you get access to our live trading sessions and you get to join the community, get access to a free t-shirt. I'll send it over to you anywhere in the world. And inside of StockMeet here in the morning when we go live, next live session happening soon, it's going to be very valuable for you if you need a plan, you need to learn. But again, Monday through Friday, ever ongoing, but you could get it with lifetime access with our current sale. Pretty rare, and it's closing soon. So second link down below if you want to get it. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and do consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.